So after 40 years of one crew doing stuff, you got an idea. That thing then got nice and cool. No, it's fine. It was just slow poking at first, just barely. Yeah, boy, look at here. But now that boy's on a roll. I'm going to move toward a close. What I'm talking about is, my Lord, thou hast indeed bestowed on me some power and taught me something of the interpretation of dreams and events. O thou creator of the heavens and earth, thou art my protector in this world and the hereafter. Take thou my soul at death as one to thy will, submitting to thy will as a Muslim, and unite me with the righteous. That's who you want to be with. Because see, in this world, the unrighteous, the bums will have all the money and all the power. But our brother asks, I don't want to be with them bums. And I'm grateful for everything, all this stuff missing. I will just mention a few things. Escape events, it's not escape. You wasn't lucky to escape that. Allah had wrote where you was going to escape that. And you got enough sense to know, yeah, we can pick up on a lot of special events and and patterns of behavior and all of that. You ain't slick, nigga. Who you think hooking you up with all of this? And you're grateful. And then with other people, la tatraba. No reproach this day. That's what Yusuf tell his brothers. Hey man, and it's the same thing we say right now, la tatraba. No reproach. Allah gonna forgive you for whatever you done did, because you done got hooked up in this, right? So Allah gonna forgive you. So Yusuf's brothers, far as we know, was forgiven. That's what it looks like. They was forgiven and overlooked for what they did. The same slow-minded, buffoonish Negroes in 2021 can be overlooked and forgiven by Allah. We don't know what Allah do on those cases, but for us, we can say, La tatraba, Mr. and Mrs. Negro, y'all gone about your business. Because I've been hooked up. Whatever y'all get, that's yours. On payday, it's your business. We could care less what you get. But with all of this stuff, we just went over a few things. Well, we was caught dead to right, dead to wrong, and Allah gobbledygooked it up and just, hey man, hooked it up. Okay, so we're thankful and appreciative about all of that stuff. Let me see, that's one of two. I have done and I'm doing very well. It says here, I decided to do good. Just like the people right here, they decided to do right. That's the way the hookup comes in. You decide, because mathematically, you would make another decision. If it was mathematics, you say, well, 98% of the people went that way. And you say, I would rather be over here by myself doing right than with them, sitting up ready to go to the eternal penitentiary or to the fire. I ain't going to make no decision to go. I'm going to decide to go to the fire. And no better. Boy, now most people do. That's their problem. I'm not doing it. Historical account. You know, you wouldn't imagine how we've missed so many opportunities. If you see the cars I drive, they only little cars. I won't drive them big cars. I won't drive them no more. I used to call them big cars the electric chair. That's what I used to call mine. It's like a electric chair, nigga. If you get in here, it's like you might as well pull the switch. And I got it so bad that I wouldn't ride in everything everybody else wanted to ride. I wouldn't ride in them no more. Well, I would ride if it's just going around the block. Because the white man took all the love of all of them big fancy cars and fancy clothes. He just drove them out of me to where I don't even like them no more. You know, I mean, my son saw a little picture of that yellow Volkswagen we used to have out there. And he saw it. He said, "Yeah, Dad, that's like that." Because when I came back from overseas, when I left, I drove the biggest cars. When I came back, I drove the smallest, a Volkswagen. Can you imagine in '73 or '70s driving a Volkswagen? So I went over there driving the biggest and proud of it, and come back here, I don't want to have nothing to do with them anymore. And there's no limit to what the Negro would do. If y'all ever go in an old Jet magazine from the mid-'70s, no, it was maybe '73 or '74, you'll see Isaac Hayes, the chandelier. Can you imagine? A big long limousine with a chandelier. Now, nigga can't get around in it. A chandelier in the car. But remember, you got to look at it like, see, I was looking at, if you were to type in Negro farmer, 1938. 38. Negro farmer, 1938. Huh? Does it have a little video there? If you keep moving, it'll have an arrow for a video.
Yeah, it says it's an educational film made by the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Huh? The Negro farmer. The Negro farmer, it shows the little shack. But we used to live in those houses. The shacks that you see, that's what we lived in. But we were well-to-do Negroes. But okay, I was born in 1945, but it don't make no difference. All of that stuff exactly like 1938. That's exactly, everybody had outhouses, everybody wore them overalls, everybody was barefooted. You know, everybody got baptized in the water, not in the church. You know, they took all of that. So you would think it was like 100 years ago. It wasn't that long ago, but it's getting close now. What I mean to say is, imagine those people born like that, and they didn't sleep on beds. They'll tell you they slept on pallets.
I'm watching it now.
Yeah, they slept on pallets, you know, okay. A pallet, you know, on the ground. So people wonder, how can you sleep on a pallet? Well, that's where I want to sleep because that's where I was raised, sleeping on a pallet. And it's good for your back and good for your body. You know, it's good and healthy. I ain't sleeping on no more. I didn't see a bed till like we got out in California, got beds and all that. But I'm telling you, electric lights. So I remember when I was 4, I was in this cotton wagon. The cotton wagon had a big seat way up top. You know, like a stagecoach has a big seat way up there. and then the horse thing is down there. Well, I fell off that and I bust my head. I hit on the tongue of the way, they call it the tongue. You know, the tongue pull, you hitch the horses and the mules to the tongue of the way, and that's how you pull it. And I remember like it was yesterday, I fell out of the top of that wagon when I was 4, and I could remember that hot blood just gushing out of my head. Now, I didn't go to the doctor or nothing, because you didn't, what did you go to the doctor for? Anyway, you couldn't find one if you did. Anyway, so I remember that very well because it was just normal. You know, it was just normal, and there was no OSHA, like the standards, health standards, and safety standards. Everybody in the country lost a finger, a foot, the axe cut off this. You know what I mean? That's the way people look like. Everybody was not lame, but it was an accident because you didn't go through a program of safety, like, okay, when you cut wood, don't do it next to nobody because if it hits off that and it'll cut him in half. So you don't do that. You just be chopping wood. And if it misses, it'll just, and you cut through your boots. You don't have steel toe boots on, so you'll cut your foot in half. That's the way it was. It was no OSHA standards like health and safety, safety classes. So you fell out of wagons, you got run over by stuff, and you burned down the barn, like my brother burned down the barn. The barn is where most of your money is tied up in the barn, not in the house. He burned it down when just burned it down, it's okay. Everybody's barn burned down. The point is that when we get to where we are today, we know there's something going on to bring you through all of that stuff. Limousines, and so it was a big deal when we thought we was in heaven. Why would Isaac Hayes buy a limousine and put a chandelier in it? Was he stupid? Semi, but what else was it to do? Everybody else got limousines too, so why not put a chandelier? You can't get in the car hardly, and it shake. If it go over something, it'll knock you in the head, right? But I mean, that's how extravagant, like, hey man, during the late 60s and the early 70s, even going into the 80s, Negroes was just getting money, real money, and hey, they went crazy. And I was one of the fortunate, I was one of the first to get big money and then get through it. Okay. So, aqula qawli hadha wa astaghfirullah li wa lakum. I would like to mention a few things before we remember. This weekend we're going to be over at whatever it is. Now I was thinking, I don't already cook the chicken. You can leave it on for a few minutes just so it'll get on this too. So we done already cooked several pans of chicken. We're going to have to clean the bottom of that oven out because it smokes when you turn it on now. It needs the stuff overflows and it, we put too much. Yeah, anyway. So we got the chicken already cooked. So we got the rice down there. All we got to do, we're going to have, I don't know if anybody remember, we used to have mixed vegetables and rice, kind of a biryani like, with that Indo-Pakistani flavor. So we're going to cook some of that because they'll be mostly Pakistanis Indo-Pakistanis, and if they taste a little something that they're familiar, it helps. So we're going to have, the rice will be like that. Biryani, that means mixed vegetables with that flavor and rice. So we'll have several pans of that. All we have to do is go get some mixed vegetables. We got everything else here. So that'll be that. We'll have mac and cheese. We'll have mac and cheese. And we might as well have, where we used to have those the string beans with potatoes and all of that. Everybody kind of likes that. So we'll fix some of them. We'll fix a few big pans of those.